Welcome to the deep dive. I've been really curious about the topic we're getting into today. It's from Héctor García and Francesc Miralles' book, Ikigai, The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life. This deep dive is all about, unpacking this powerful Japanese idea of Ikigai, what it actually means, and how it ties into, well, something we're all looking for, a long, happy life. We'll explore it through the author's journey to Okinawa.
Which is just legendary for its centenarians, right?
Exactly. And our mission here for you is to pull out the most important insights, the really practical bits from this source material. It's a pretty intriguing idea, isn't it? We're going to look at how some of the world's longest living people over in Okinawa actually live day to day and what their lifestyle, their whole mindset, their community, what that can teach us about finding our own, well, reason for being. What's great is how the book mixes philosophy, psychology, cultural stuff, and even, some science to paint this full picture. Okay, so Ikigai, this very personal reason for being, often translated as a reason to wake up in the morning. And it sounds simple, but there's like a real depth to it. It's not just finding one huge purpose, maybe, but that daily motivation.
That's a big part of it, yeah. The book uses that famous diagram, the four circles overlapping, to explain Ikigai. So first, there's what you love, that's your passion. Then, what you're good at your vocation. Third, what the world needs that gives you a mission. And finally, what you can be paid for your profession. Ideally, finding your Ikigai is hitting that sweet spot where all four overlap.
Right, the intersection, that makes total sense conceptually. But finding that perfect overlap of all four, that sounds, well, really hard. Does the book talk about, like, what if you've got three, but you're missing one? Maybe the getting paid for it part. Can you still have Ikigai?
That's a really good question. And yeah, the authors do acknowledge that hitting all four perfectly isn't always realistic. The main takeaway really is that aligning as many as possible is the key to feeling more satisfied with life. It's less like a strict checklist, and more like a direction to move in. Continuously trying to bring your life closer to those intersections, even if your main passion isn't your job, just finding ways to bring bits of it into your life can make a huge difference to your well-being.
Okay, that reframes it nicely. It's more of a journey. And talking about life satisfaction, longevity, it's amazing that this Ikigai idea isn't just theory, it's lived out by these people in Okinawa. It really makes you wonder, what are they doing so differently there?
Well, it's definitely not only genetics, though that might play a small part. Their lifestyle gives us some, honestly, pretty revolutionary insights. What's really striking isn't just what they do, but how they think about basic things like work. I mean, imagine a culture where traditional retirement just isn't really a thing. Apparently, there's no specific word for retires in their dialect. They just talk about Ikigai. So they don't just stop working. They see purpose as this lifelong thing, always doing meaningful stuff.
Wow. So continuous evolving and engagement, not just stopping. That's a powerful shift.
It really is. And another fascinating bit is the harahachi-bu principle. Eating until you're about 80% full. This kind of dietary wisdom seems crucial for stopping overeating, and they believe it really helps slow down aging.
Harahachibu. Eating till 80% full. That sounds brilliant, but also like a constant struggle for a lot of us today. Did the authors talk about how they manage that discipline? Is it just baked into the culture, or?
It seems deeply cultural. Yeah. Taught young, reinforced by eating together, traditional cooking. It all leads to lighter, nutrient-packed meals naturally. And beyond diet, their daily activity is like light but constant. Gardening, walking, just puttering around the house. The focus is on consistency, not intensity, for that long life. And they also manage stress through, strong social ties, that sense of purpose we talked about, and mindfulness.
Okay, what you're describing, the purpose, community, mindful eating, it makes me wonder if there's some deeper psychology going on here. Like, are these just Okinawan things, or do they tap into universal human needs?
It's amazing how well it lines up with some established psychology, like Viktor Frankl's logotherapy. His whole idea was that finding meaning, even when things are tough, helps people get through hardship. Purpose is protective. And then there's Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's concept of flow. Being so absorbed in something that time just vanishes. That state is super closely linked to Ikigai.
Ah, flow.
Yeah. And to get into flow, the book mentions needing clear goals, really intense focus, getting immediate feedback on how you're doing, and having that perfect balance between how skilled you are and how challenging the task is. Not too easy, not too hard. And importantly, flow isn't just for work, right? You can find it gardening, painting, playing sports, even cooking.
Finding flow in just everyday things like cooking, that feels way more achievable, doesn't it? Less pressure. Now, the authors actually went and interviewed Okinawan elders. Here's where it gets really interesting. What patterns did they see? What came up again and again?
They found some really consistent things among the centenarians, yeah. They pretty much all had simple daily rituals, like having tea, working in the garden, chatting with neighbors.
Hmm.
Routine stuff, strong friendships were huge. They even have this thing called moai, basically, lifelong support groups. They also tended to have a really optimistic outlook and kept learning throughout their lives. From all this, the authors boiled it down to 9 core longevity principles.
9 principles. You know, when you list them out, they sound almost too simple. Like, no crazy biohacks or extreme diets. It kind of makes you rethink if we're overcomplicating things, maybe. How do these principles work together?
They definitely reinforce each other. Like, surround yourself with good friends. The moai thing isn't just socializing, it's a built-in safety net, financial and emotional. Nobody gets left behind. And that ties into live in the moment, because good relationships kind of ground you in the present. Let's see, the others were 1, stay active mentally, socially, not just physically. Don't retire in that sense. 2, take it slow, less rush, more presence. 3, don't fill your stomach, that's harahachi bu again. 4, get in shape with daily movement, gentle, consistent. 5, smile and express gratitude, simple but powerful. 6, reconnect with nature. 7, give thanks, cultivating appreciation.
Number 9 was leave in the moment. Right.
Exactly. Number 9, live in the moment.
It's incredible how much wisdom is in those simple lines. Let's go a bit deeper on their diet and movement, though. What does that actually look like day to day?
Right, the diet. It's definitely a cornerstone. It's mostly plant-based,
Right.
naturally low in calories, but packed with antioxidants, lots of veggies, some tofu, maybe a little fish. They drink green tea every day, matcha sencha, and very, very little sugar. And portion control is just normal. It makes harahachibu much easier to practice. For movement, the book really argues that light, gentle exercise is often better for longevity than super intense stuff. Things like tai chi, those morning stretches called radio taiso, gardening. The key is keeping joints and muscles moving daily. Gentle consistency over pushing limits.
Makes sense. And beyond the physical, you mentioned some philosophical ideas that help with resilience.
Yeah, 2 really stand out in the book. One is wabi-sabi. It's this Japanese idea of finding beauty in things that are imperfect, impermanent, incomplete. It encourages accepting things as they are, finding peace and simplicity and appreciating the flaws. The other is gaiman. That's about enduring tough times with dignity, with patience, perseverance. Both of these philosophies kind of help you find joy in small things and stay mentally flexible when life throws curveballs.
Wabi-sabi and gaiman. Beautiful concepts. Now, this all sounds incredibly wise, almost intuitive. But, you know, in our very data-focused world, someone listening might be thinking, is there any science to back this up? Or is it just nice philosophy?
Totally fair question. And yes, the book does point to scientific findings that support these lifestyle choices. For instance, studies on lower calorie diets consistently link them to longer lifespans in animals and humans. We also have good evidence that chronic stress messes with us on a cellular level. It shortens our telomeres, which speeds up aging. Strong social connections. Research shows they boost immunity and actually reduce mortality rates. And having a clear sense of purpose, that Ikigai feeling, is linked to lower rates of Alzheimer's and depression. So yeah, there's definitely scientific resonance there.
Okay, so the science lines up too. That's compelling. So wrapping this up for our listener, what does this all mean for you? How can you actually start finding your Ikigai using these ideas?
Well, the book suggests starting with some self-reflection. Ask yourself questions like, what things make me totally lose track of time? If money wasn't an issue, what would I do? What do people tend to ask me for help with? What kinds of problems do I actually enjoy tackling? But it's not just thinking. It's also about experimenting, trying new things, meeting different people, taking small risks to see what clicks. And then it's about commitment, building habits that actually align with what you discover about your passions and values, remembering that Ikigai isn't some final destination you just arrive at. It's more like a path you keep walking.
That's a great way to put it. Ikigai isn't about finding one single big dream or waiting for lightning to strike. It really is a daily practice of living meaningfully, where work, relationships, self-care, it all adds up. What these Okinawan folks show us is that maybe longevity isn't just about fancy medicine, but more about these consistent, purpose-driven ways of living.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If even one simple habit can nudge you towards a life with more purpose and well-being, what small daily practice might bring you just a little bit closer to your reason to wake up in the morning?